host, Peyton Crow, here with a shocking story, a true story of an innocent man who served a 25-year sentence for a crime he did not commit. He was denied justice from a prosecutor who swore an oath to uphold it. This is the story of Michael Morton. Michael Morton was born August 12, 1954, and met his wife Christine in college. They married soon after and had a son, Eric, in 1983.
Unfortunately, there is no background information on Christine Morton.
August 13, 1986, Michael Morton arrived home and was instantly greeted with police. While he was away at work, his wife Christine had been brutally murdered while his toddler son watched. The prosecutor, Ken Anderson's main argument was that Michael killed his wife because she refused to have sex with him. The night before the murder, the Morton family went out to celebrate Michael's 32nd birthday. The next morning, Michael left a note on their bathroom mirror claiming he was disappointed with her refusal to be intimate with him, but ended the note with, "I love you." That note was the main source of evidence, as there were no witnesses or anything conclusively tying Michael to the crime scene.
Here is an exclusive interview with Michael Morton himself after his exoneration.
I didn't really have an opportunity to grieve her because everything changed so rapidly from her to me.
Were you a suspect from the very beginning?
Yes, all of the questions were adversarial and accusatory. It became clear to me that the sheriff showed up, looked around, and thought the husband did it.
How long after were you arrested?
About 6 weeks later.
February 1987, Michael was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. There were 2 pieces of biological evidence from the scene that were never tested. On the bed where Christine was killed, police found semen stains on the sheets as well as a bloody bandana near the scene. Over the course of 24 years, the Innocence Project helped Michael file motions for the evidence to be analyzed. In 2005, Michael's team was allowed to test the DNA source from the bed. The results were inconclusive. There was a major break in the case in 2011 when they were finally allowed to analyze the bandana. This confirmed Michael's innocence. The blood results showed the blood of Christine and one unknown male, but after comparing the DNA to several databases, they confirmed it belonged to a known felon and murderer. 2 years after the death of his wife, and while Michael was already serving time, a homicide similar to Christine's happened with another young woman. This was no coincidence. The man responsible for both murders was Mark Allen Norwood. With this new information, Michael was released in October 2011 and officially exonerated 25 years after the fact in December 2011. Michael's freedom would not have been possible without the help of the Innocence Project.
Here is some background information on the role of the Cardoza Innocence Project in Michael's case.
In 1987, Michael Morton was sentenced to life in prison for stabbing and murdering his wife, Christine. 25 years later, a judge overturned his sentence and set him free, after it was proved he did not commit the crime. His freedom was won by Cardozo's Innocence Project, and took years of work by consecutive groups of law students working at one of the school's oldest and most famous clinics.
What makes the Innocence Project effective is that it taps into something very fundamental on a spiritual level that people understand. And that is this whole struggle that our clients and their families engage in to overcome injustice.
The official prosecutor, Ken Anderson, was sued due to probable cause that he violated the law by concealing exculpatory evidence from Michael's defense team. According to Morton's lawyers, the evidence concealed would have helped prove Michael's innocence. The first piece of evidence left out was the witness testimony from Michael's son, Eric. Although just a toddler, Eric understood who was present during the crime. When asked if his father, Michael, was there during the murder, he replied, "No, just Mommy and Eric was there. There was a monster with a mustache and he hit Mommy." There was also a police report filed by one of the Morton's neighbors. Days before the crime, she claimed a suspicious man with a green van parked on their street and walked into the wooded area behind the Morton home. According to an Innocence Project founder, Barry, evidence like Eric's testimony are legally and ethically required by the prosecution to be disclosed to the court. As a lawyer, Anderson swore an oath to uphold the law, and by withholding evidence, he broke this oath. Ironically, the Michael Morton case made Anderson famous. He later received Texas Prosecutor of the Year award and moved up in the ranks to become a Texas district judge. Anderson did not respond to allegations of misconduct, but insisted his innocence.
Here is a transcript from a speech by Ken Anderson written as a response to the misconduct allegations against him. In this speech, he does not take responsibility for his actions. Rather, he blames the judicial system and says that any evidence that would prove his innocence is 25 years forgotten. Here is an interview with Anderson's lawyer speaking on his behalf about the recent events.
Anderson has not agreed to speak with us about these events, but his lawyer, Eric Nichols, is here to speak on his behalf. He claims that the reports in his client's files would not have been enough to acquit Michaels. What would you like to say to that?
It is clear to my client that he would have had some discussions with the defense counsel about Eric Morton. The precise details, unfortunately, are lost in the sands of time.
One of Michael Morton's original defense attorneys claimed, "I had absolutely no idea at the time that Eric had made a specific statement about witnessing the murder in progress. It is clear to me that conscious decisions were made to conceal evidence or ignore the truth." How would you like to respond?
We are engaging in speculation about matters that occurred 25 years ago.
Is that all you have to say?
Here is an interview with Michael after his release discussing his reunion with his son.
Tell me about reuniting with your son.
It had been a while, and we just fell into this real natural cadence of talking. And we were talking about family and what had been going on. It was some of the best time I had had in obviously years and years and years, but we really seemed to connect then.
You feel he believes 100% in your innocence?
Oh, yeah.
Is he going to change his name?
I don't care about that. I don't know the answer. I have my boy back. I don't care about his name.
Since Michael's release, he has reunited with his son, become a grandfather, and married again. What happened to him was crippling, but he did not let it remain in control. He does not let the past control his life and plans to keep moving forward. Michael has also become an author and had a documentary filmed about his life. He has received $2 million in compensation for his wrongful conviction from the state of Texas and is now an activist for prosecutor accountability.
What happened to Michael Morton was a tragedy that could have been avoided, losing his wife, his son, and his freedom all within the same year due to the ignorance of one man. Personally, the verdict of the Michael Morton case should have been not guilty. There was absolutely no evidence whatsoever that conclusively tied Morton to the murder. There was only speculation. I believe Ken Anderson purposefully left out details to help him win, even if that meant putting an innocent man away. I feel that had all the evidence been disclosed during the first trial, there would have been a different verdict. DNA analysis started picking up just after this case, but I feel that the police should have analyzed the evidence individually once the tool became available to ensure they convicted the right man, which they didn't. I think it is very lucky that Michael is a calm, forgiving person, not one of malice and vengeance. He has been able to move past his many decades in jail and live a life that he is proud of. I think justice was served when Ken Anderson had his license revoked and spent a couple of days in jail. I truly believe that no one else is at fault for Michael's conviction but Anderson.